Hi, everyone. Today we are going to start on our last section of chapter 23, and that's on electronic promotions. So, previously we learned that um, promotion is marketing communication and communicating with your target market. And we know that in a marketing campaign, we can utilize the four different elements of the promotional mix, which include advertising, sales promotions, public relations, and personal selling. However, any of these four elements of the promotional mix could also be done electronically. And so that's what today's lesson is all about, how to make those elements of the promotional mix electronic. Not everything should be electronic, but if we do include a mix of um, advertising in brick and mortar stores, using broadcast advertising, using print advertisements, and then we turn some of them electronic. It's a great way to further extend the reach and ultimately get your message to your target market. So, electronic promotion is any promotion that uses the internet or other technology like smartphones. This could also be called digital marketing. So, we talked earlier in the beginning of the chapter about integrated marketing communications, and that is going to combine both the electronic and the traditional promotions so that you can have a wider reach. Sometimes electronic promotions also utilize quick response codes, or you might know them as QR codes, and I have a little picture of them here. And that allows a lot of print advertisements to interact electronically. So by simply scanning the QR code with your phone, it takes a normal print advertisement or broadcast advertisement and allows you to interact with the advertisement. So, for example, a lot of times on packaging, you'll see QR codes so you can scan it and get more information about the brand itself or nutrition. I don't know if you guys picked up on this or not, but in the Super Bowl commercials that we watched, the Mountain Dew commercial where they had the contest, if you counted all the Mountain Dews that fell out of John Cena's car, you could tweet how many you saw and win a cash prize. Well, on that television commercial, they actually had a QR code for you to scan quickly and enter into the contest. So it's a great way to further extend the advertisement and to allow for more interaction with your target market. A lot of companies have a web presence using a website. So companies' websites are going to be typically informational and promotional as well. They are going to have something called a URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, and it's the unique address for a document or website. You do have to pay for a URL unless it's going to be sponsored by a website, and if it's sponsored by another website, it's going to have the name of that sponsor in the URL. So if you don't want the name of that sponsor in the URL, you do have to pay for it. A blog is another way to have a web presence, and that's going to be in journal format used to further connect with customers. So you can see here at the bottom, there is Coke's a picture of Coke's website. However, on their website, they have a blog that just is a way for you to further interact with the company. Now, when you are creating a web presence for your company, you should have objectives for what your site should accomplish before you're designing one. So, a couple of different objectives that you might have might be to advertise. It might be to sell the product itself. So, as opposed to utilizing a brick and mortar store, you're using your website to sell. um, it could be simply to provide information or to capture client info. It might have a spot for people who are browsing your site to enter in information so that you can further interact with them utilizing other means. It might be to reach a global audience. Obviously, if you have a brick and mortar store in one physical location, you're not going to be able to reach people all over the world, but by utilizing a web presence, you will be able to have that reach. And it could also be to present a socially responsible image, which we have done research on previously. If you recall, we did research on Tom's, and Tom's website shows how they utilize their sales in order to buy shoes for people in need, or other companies like Burt's Bees. They are showing what they are doing for the environment and how to responsibly source their products. Same thing with Starbucks. So we talked about public relations. That's just another method of proactive public relations, and they're showing that or conveying that image utilizing their web presence. One really important method of establishing is a web presence is to utilize what's called search engine optimization. It could be abbreviated just by saying SEO, and that's a process of indexing a website to rank it higher on the return list when a search is conducted. So, for example, if you need an electrician, and you go on to Google and you search electricians near me, you're probably going to click on the first couple of results. You're most likely not going to go on to the second page. So, search engine optimization. Make sure that your site is in one of the top responses when you are Googling or utilizing a search engine in order to find a site in a specific category. Online advertising is placing ads on websites where typical viewers are the target market for the business. So it's not necessarily the web presence that you have for your brand itself, it's advertising on other pages. This is utilized often on media, but it could be utilized on other sites as well. And there are different types of ads that you could decide to utilize. So a floating ad is going to be an ad that floats across the screen and then disappears. A banner ad is placed at the top of the site and remains on the top of the site. A pop-up ad, the user can close out of. A pop under ad is going to appear after a site is closed. And then there's also demonstration videos. They're posted on free video sharing sites like YouTube or even on social media to demonstrate specific products. Marketers then purchase key terms like paid SEOs or search engine optimization for small text ads that show up on the sides. So that's just another means of advertising your product, not through specifically your website, but through other online means. Social media obviously has becoming a much more established means of getting your brand message across. Social media, as you know, an internet platform that connects people with similar interests. We have our well-known ones that you guys utilize, like Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. But people in my generation might utilize Twitter more or Facebook more, and that's something that you should take advantage of if you are marketing a specific product, or if you are putting together a a marketing campaign. You should think about who your target market is and which types of social media they utilize the most, and that's the social media platform that you should choose to advertise your product on. Social media sites can create online communities of like minded people, and so that's just another reason why it's a great idea to utilize social media in marketing. Viral marketing can also be huge for a brand. So, you know that when things go viral, um, different people in your target market are going to pass along that information. So that's a great way to get information about your product out. And the other reason why social media is really important is because it is so highly targeted. And so that can really make your money go a long way. Email is another method of electronic promotion. Email campaigns, a lot of times we think about email similarly to junk mail. However, junk, like we talked about in our last lesson, when we did print advertising, junk mail can still be effective if it's done properly, and same goes for email. So email campaigns can be an effective way to provide information, new product updates, or to announce sales. I know that I get those emails all the time that announce sales, and that totally sucks me in. And so they can be effective. However, it's important to know a couple of things. First of all, you should avoid sending unsolicited email. And unsolicited email is also known as spam. So the people that you're sending emails to should have been customers that you've provided your email address to. If you get emails by other means, it violates the 2004 Can Spam Act, and so that should be avoided. And that's another reason why the emails that you get for advertising purposes at the bottom give you the opportunity to unsubscribe from those emails and to not receive those emails any further if you choose. There are some tips if you choose to utilize email. So, the first, you should send emails between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. in order to get the most viewability. You should make good use of the subject line, and that totally sucks me in. If people announce specific things, or one way that I think companies are really getting people to look at their emails now is through the use of emojis. So I often see emojis in the subject lines, and that just to me makes them more interesting and it draws my eye to that specific email. So that's another way that it attracts you. I'm just looking at my email now and some of the subject lines utilizes. You guys know I love my morning brews or my marketing brews, and it has a little cup of coffee. It says inflated. Why are markets feeling antsy? So I'm asking myself, I don't know. Why are they feeling antsy? Let me click and read this newsletter. Or I have an email from Old Navy. It says joggers, exclamation point in all capitals. And then it says, you heart them with the red heart emoji. We made them 50% off. So now I'm seeing that and I'm thinking, oh, do you know what? I do need some new joggers. Let me check out what they have available. And then I'm looking at the site and I see their joggers. But then I also see up in store and online up to 50% off store wide. So now I'm looking at things for my kids and I'm like, "Oh, do you know what? I need a new pair of shoes too and summer's coming up. Let me browse the bathing suits." So just from that one subject line, that sucked me in to looking at all of these different shopping um you know, things that I could purchase. Another email tip is to avoid filter trigger words like free or act now, because that could land your email in a spam folder, which you want to make sure that doesn't happen. Why? Because I never look at my spam folder, I only look at my inbox. So the email won't be effective if it ends up in my spam folder. So that's it for this chapter. We have talked about how how promotion is marketing communication, and how when using integrated marketing campaigns, we need to utilize the promotional mix, which includes advertising, sales promotions, public relations, and personal selling. And then we can also take any of those parts of the promotional mix and turn them into electronic promotions, which increases the reach that we have to our target market. So, for today's activity, what you are going to do is you are going to finish the activity in the packet, and this one is specifically on electronic promotions and the electronic promotions that you could utilize in your marketing campaigns.